Hello and welcome back to the JCal Arts channel, and if you're new here, like, comment, and subscribe. Here on my channel, we do Let's Draws, and Let's Draws are basically where I have a speed paint playing in the background, and I give commentary about the picture being drawn, and if you stick to the end, you'll see the finished picture, so please do that. So the intro for today's Let's Draw is going to be a bit longer than usual, so I'll post a timestamp here to let you guys skip to the drawing and commentary if that's what you want. But for those willing to listen, in today's Let's Draw, I'll be basically redoing my Loonatics Unleashed redesigns. And I have 3 videos on my channel, with 2 of them being the most popular videos on my channel and probably why most of you are subscribed, where I basically redesign the main cast of the Loonatics Unleashed and draw OC Loonatics Unleashed villains. And I did this because I stumbled upon the actual show Loonatics Unleashed on the internet and saw how hated it was. And when I watched the actual show, the hate, in my opinion, was overrated, and the show wasn't as bad as people thought. It was pretty mediocre if you ask me. But I ended up redesigning the main characters in Loonatics Unleashed because one thing I found kind of lame is the fact that even though they're in a new genre, which is like the action hero genre, I found that the lack of humor and the cheesiness and the craziness the Looney Tunes are known for to be a missed opportunity to really make this show stand out from all the other generic 2000s action shows. So that's what spun the original Loonatics Unleashed redesign videos. And now I'm basically doing my own Loonatics Unleashed OCs, where I pull from more of the cartoon animaldom, if you will, and not just having Looney Tunes based characters. So yeah, that's going to be it for the intro. So now we're going to start off with a character concept that's made multiple appearances on the JCal Arts channel, particularly this YouTube video and this YouTube short, which you should go watch after this Let's Draw episode. But I have Frederick Rabbit here, and he is based off the Brother Rabbit character in African-American storytelling, and the Brother Rabbit is effectively a character that's meant to be a stand-in for African slaves during the slave era, and Brother Rabbit has to evade the capture of Brother Fox and Brother Bear, who are effectively stand-ins for slave catchers. But Frederick Rabbit is luckily not in those times, and our bunny boy here is in the same position as Max Goof in the Goofy movie, where he is the son of a relatively wacky father and very insecure about being like him, and so he's taken the opposite direction and trying to be the biggest, coolest, edgiest superhero he could possibly be as a cartoon rabbit. So Frederick is rocking sunglasses and a bandana, trying to be the coolest guy around, and he's wearing a sleeveless white tee with leather pants because clearly I've been watching too much Biker Mice from Mars, and that show is awesome, and y'all probably know if you watch this channel. And I have him have like blue leather pants and with gold buttons in the front. The gold buttons particularly being a reference to Mickey Mouse in his black and white classical form, where he has 2 gold buttons on the front of his shorts for some reason, but it's a cartoon, so who cares? And I also wanted to give him an elaborate shoe design because I wanted to reference the Sonic characters, because say what you will about Sonic the Hedgehog, him and his friends got some nice kicks, and so I wanted to give Frederick and all his friends nice kicks too. And he has red and white shoes with the tongue of the shoe looking like a carrot because, yeah, I'm pulling on that trope. And he is wearing white gloves along with his other friends because I see them having similar abilities to the Cuphead characters in the game, where they can shoot all sorts of magical cartoon ammo from those white gloves. And I think ever since that game, like, that's a very cool creative power for classical cartoon characters. It makes me wish Loonatics Unleashed characters had similarly creative powers around their cartoons instead of the generic super strength, super speed, and other generic powers. But that'll be the end for Frederick's segment. We have 5 more characters to go. So now we're on to Frederick Rabbit's best friend and the resident troublemaker of the group, and that is Hector Mouse. I wear my Biker Mice from Mars fan hat here because I see Hector kind of being like Vinny, but instead of being jokey and carefree, I see him being more on the edgier, angrier side, if you know what I mean. And so I base Hector Mouse on a concept I've always had that I wanted to draw a character about. So we all know Disney at this point, for us Americans, has like a big share in the entertainment industry, and they might as well own everything. And I always joke about how I want Mickey Mouse to be president and feel like at some point he might be. So I kind of, Disney, the company, and their mascot, I kind of based that idea on them being an actual, like, wealthy, powerful family in the alternate universe of anthromice that exist. And I see Hector being part of that idea, him being a Nepo baby to wealthy, powerful little mice actors who represent a very powerful company. So I see Hector Mouse sharing the same struggle with Frederick Rabbit, where they're both part of very influential, powerful families who are known to have a very wholesome, all for the ages persona, and not being able to be their own people and constantly being compared to the rest of their family whenever they're standing out on their own or making attempts to do so. So this is like their big break of trying to be effectively superheroes. Like, it's essentially the Loonatics Unleashed concept, I feel, but I guess with OCs. But anyway, when it comes to Hector's design, he's wearing the same leather pants that Frederick's wearing, but they're red, and he's wearing big yellow boots, and who am I referencing there? You take a guess. And I named him Hector because this is a little cool fun fact for the research nerds, but there was a mouse that launched into space, and his name is Hector as well. So I believe he was launched by the French space program in 1961, but I could be wrong, and you can correct me in the comments section. So I don't have too much more to say about Hector. And when it comes to all these original creations in today's Let's Draw, there's no guarantee that I'll be keeping them the exact same that they are now, but I'll just admit that Hector and Frederick's designs are more solidly thought out, if you know what I mean. So we're now on to Carmen Bunny, who obviously is supposed to be a stand-in for Lola Bunny for all the Loonatics Unleashed and Looney Tunes fans. And I said this in the last Let's Draw in the Loonatics Unleashed redesign series, but Lola Bunny doesn't have much to her personality besides being furry bait in the first Space Jam movie and being athletic in general, but particularly good at basketball. And while it's such a shame that there's not much else to her, it tends to create a lot of room where you can really take her where you want to go in any spin-off, because the iterations of Lola Bunny ever since Space Jam 1 has been quite interesting. So I recently found out of another cartoon character. Her name is Carmen Sandiego, and she's supposed to be a master thief. And at least to my knowledge, she is a character from, I guess, detective-like games where you're trying to basically catch her and her goons. And when it comes to Carmen Sandiego, there are variant versions of her from game to game and the media she appears in, but she's effectively a master thief. And I'm mentioning her because I'm mashing her master thief persona idea with basically Lola Bunny to create Carmen Bunny. So I'm afraid Carmen Bunny is in the same place as her character of inspiration Lola Bunny, where there's not much to her story element wise. Now I guess I kind of see her being the same type of thief Sly Cooper is, where she is a thief, but not a malicious one. But at least I got her visual design down. So she wears a long pink overcoat over a maroon sweater and form-fitting fuchsia pants and pink boots. And instead of having, you know, the gloves that shoot out the ammo being worn on her hands, she has it attached to a stick, so it's more of a rifle type weapon, if you know what I mean. So at least her visual design is down. And I created original characters this run around on the Loonatics Unleashed redesign because it really makes me wish that instead of tying the Looney Tunes to the concept of Loonatics Unleashed, they could have just used original characters. And ironically, they had the potential to do that with the DC Zoo Crew, which are effectively wholly original cartoon animal characters who are superheroes. And DC is owned by Warner, so it's something they could do to bring these characters out of obscurity with a good cartoon. So we're now on to the fourth character in this Let's Draw. Hang in there, y'all. We're in the home stretch, halfway there. But I'm going to call him Billy the Kid because I like the pun. Billy is a male goat, Kid is a young goat, so you get the idea, and he's a goat. But I honestly wanted to base this character around a long forgotten Looney Tunes character, ironically, and this is the Gabby the Goat. And from research, he seems to be a character who's very cynical and has a bad attitude, and I guess he's supposed to be a counter opposite to Porky Pig, where, you know, Porky Pig genuinely is like a wholesome, nice guy, pretty optimistic. So I wanted to kind of, I guess, have my own spiritual successor to that type of character, because I think the concept of a stubborn, mean, cynical goat character is pretty funny. So I mentioned Gabby Goat because it kind of represents another critique I have of Loonatics Unleashed, where I wish they were able to take the opportunity and pull obscure Looney Tunes characters, and give them effectively an appearance or cameo in the Lunatics Unleashed show. Because besides the main cast, they live in a sci-fi world with humans and like aliens, and it's just like, why you basically are doing the concept of Looney Tunes as superheroes. So you have a big roster of characters you could pull from. And I know there are more characters based off Looney Tunes characters in season 2, but I honestly felt like from the jump that's how it should have been, and really just make the Lunatics Unleashed stand out as like a show, because it could have been better. And I'm not expecting the show to be 5 stars or anything, but it would have been more interesting, especially at the time that it was released, because again, I think it's a pretty generic action show on its own. So I'm sorry I went on a bit of a tangent for Billy's section. It's just that I wanted to get those feelings off about the show, because this whole Let's Draw is inspired by the Lunatics Unleashed redesigns. And so I just wanted to have my piece. And just like Carmen, there's not much else to Billy besides grumpy old goat guy. So yeah, I'm sorry I don't have much to say there. But on the other hand, when it comes to Lunatics Unleashed, the show, it's been 20 years, and I think people are slowly coming around to it, but that first initial impression really sucked hard, so yeah. So now we're on to character number 5, and his name is Bianco, and he is basically the concept of Bolt from the Disney movie, if you're like an actual like action superhero, like full-on anthro, like action superhero who goes on missions, saves the world, beats up bad guys, etc. And I'm afraid he has the same type of like, you know, Cuphead cartoon glove finger shooty powers that the other characters have. So he can't do all the wacky stuff that Bolt can do, at least within the movies and that series. And for those who aren't aware, because I've seen a lot of people talk about Bolt's dog breed online, Bolt is supposed to be a Swiss German Shepherd, like a white Swiss Shepherd dog. So yeah, get the word out there and let people know for those who are not in the know. But when it came to Bianco's design, I just gave him, you know, a black shirt, green military pants, and combat boots. And I wanted to really have him be effectively like the adult of the 6 characters in this Let's Draw. You know, he's the one with the most experience, and he is often the one who has to wrangle everybody together and get them in line. So Lunatics Unleashed fans know Zendavia is effectively like the character that gives the Lunatics their missions and briefing them on the situation and assigning them tasks and everything. And so I just have Bianco take that place of that character, because I don't mind Zendavia. She's just, you know, a super lady who you learn more about in season 2 in depth, but serves as a guide in season 1. But it just goes along with my general attitudes towards the show, where why did you need to have a original human character basically play that mentor role when you could easily find one of the many Looney Tunes characters in their roster of cartoon shorts to play that role instead? And I don't think most people realize how many characters are under like the Looney Tunes banner, or rather Merry Melodies, I think is the more like official term for the shorts that they were in. But I just have Bianco here play that role instead, as like the mentor and the real adult, keeping the team together and tracking down the missions and everything. So we're finally at the last character of the Lunatics Unleashed redesign, and we're going to end this Let's Draw episode off on Eric the Eagle, with eagle being in quotes because he's actually a duck. So Eric basically fits into the stereotype of the superhero that's only into the job because he likes the fame and glory and not actually really helping people that much. But I see Eric going on a journey where he actually learns to care about, you know, helping the people he's supposed to be, you know, helping, because he's a superhero after all. And I put eagle in quotes because he is actually a duck. And because the way his fur coloring of his coat is, like he has like black feathers on the rest of his body and white feathers on his face and neck, he tries to be an eagle because, you know, he wants to really be special and something important. The American eagle is the sign of heroicness and freedom, and so he's all about trying to do it. And I see him getting surgery on his beak to make it look more eagle-like and less duck-like. So yeah, he's all about appearances. I also see Eric being a gym bro, like very concerned with his appearance and basically trying to look pretty for the camera. So he's always trying to maintain a fit, muscular build. And so he's really self obsessed, trying to look good and everything. And I also see him being low key jealous of Hector Mouse and Frederick Rabbit over the perceived attention they get over him. And he just lacks the self-awareness to understand how exhausting he is to be around. And I also see him kind of getting on Bianco's nerves as well, because he's just a lot to manage and he's a know-it-all. And so he really takes on the personality of the cartoon ducks that inspired him. So yeah. And that'll be enough of the commentary about Eric. So I'll just like to thank everybody for sticking by if you're watching. It's been a long video and a long time making it, because it's effectively, at least to me, 2 videos worth of drawing and commentary into one. But I will have a part 2 to this series where I'll create, a team of villains like I've done here with the team of heroes, and basing it off cartoon animals in general instead of just the Looney Tunes, because really I wish Loonatics Unleashed was just a different type of show altogether. But thank you for watching, and now on to the finished picture.